everybody. It's Monday. And of course, if it's Monday, you know what it is. It's me and Amadeus talking about the weekend. Amadeus, you're coming off a really good college football weekend.
Yeah, I went 2-1. I lost with New Mexico State, but I had FIU, which was a really close game. I had Jacksonville State, the newcomers to the FBS. There was a few I had that I talked myself off, like San Jose State and Hawaii. So yeah, could have been a 4-1 weekend, Jim, but we settled for still a winning 2-1.
How about there were a lot of soccer games this past weekend as well. Any of them memorable to you from your standpoint?
Yeah, I thought that Newcastle Liverpool match was pretty wild yesterday, just because, obviously Newcastle scores, then we see the red card really affect the game heavily from there. Liverpool, they still tried to push and they couldn't really do much. And then, Darwin Nunez comes on, and all of a sudden just flips the game, even still down a man. They scored 2 goals in those last 15 minutes to beat Newcastle. So yeah, Liverpool has been one of those teams that Newcastle couldn't beat them last year, and that was the home fixture. So that's going to be a lot harder when they go see them in Liverpool. That's
for sure. It's I was taking a quick look at what is going on in Major League Baseball, and if you really are a fan of the game, and you woke up this morning and you went to your favorite, Major League Baseball site to check the standings, you might be surprised to see the Seattle Mariners on top in the AL West. Going, wait a minute, just a second, excuse me. Weren't they, hovering above 500 just a few weeks ago? And oh, by the way, wasn't this supposed to be Houston and Texas battling for it? Suddenly, Texas goes in the tank. Houston plays average ball, and Seattle's playing out of their mind. So it's going to be a crazy race to the end in that division.
And I've been harping on this Mariners team for a while now. So who would have thought, though? Never mind wild card. They decide they're going to come in and just win the division now in the last month.
And they got the players to do it. There's no question about that.
And they gave their closer away at the deadline.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's like, who needs a closer when we're just running for the whole thing?
It's just one of those moves where you wonder, right? Like you guys sell your closer and then all of a sudden go on this massive run. Meanwhile, we've got another team who will not be mentioned takes off probably the biggest trade piece in the MLB and then proceeds to do the complete opposite, falls under 500.
Right. And not only that team that we will not mention has a player who's injured himself, he's still playing as a designated hitter. So it's like, okay, what the heck? We're gonna get our mileage out of him one way or the other.
Yeah. Meanwhile, their other star player on the offensive side is just out and decided, I'm sitting. I'm not playing the rest of this, useless season.
Right. It's just it's an upside down world, and we've got a big series, and we'll talk about that later. Starting tonight in Milwaukee, it's the I-95 series, which of course is the Cubs and the Brewers. And by the way, if you happen to be out there this evening and you're driving from Chicago up to Milwaukee, it's about a 90-mile trip. There is a great place you have to stop. It's called Jones's Diner. And Jones's Diner is the best place for cheeseburgers if you really want a cheeseburger. Highly recommend. It is in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So basically, it's about 20 minutes over the border between Illinois and Wisconsin. So en route, check it out. So there you go. That was they're not paying me for that, but I'm just giving you some tips. Diners, drive-ins, and dives type situation there for the trip up to the capital of the world. But who would have thought the Cubs would still be in? I mean, they're still in the race. You got Milwaukee still in the race. You got the Phillies, of course, locked in, loaded. It's crazy. San Francisco, there's 6 teams, with San Francisco being 3 games out of the wild card. So no matter where you look in Major League Baseball, whether it's American League or the National League, there's things to be seen and things to be had. And one thing that came out this morning was a list, and we'll get into this later in the week. But first manager fired at the end of the season. If that were a prop bet, I'd take Aaron Boone.
Oh yeah, 100%. This losing season is finally the excuse the Yankees need. I don't even think the fans like them. They just keep them around because they haven't had a losing season in 30 years.
Right.
So it's like why New England still keeps Belichick around. Nobody wants him there yet. You're not going to fire the guy until you just completely tank one year.
Right. One last thing, because I know this is for you. It's Baker Mayfield update. I saw Baker Mayfield on TV the other day against the Ravens, and Baker Mayfield looks wonderful. He was hitting all the passes. He was hitting the touch passes. He was hitting the deep ball. He was, he was looking good. He got in, played to a couple of series, threw for a touchdown pass, and exit stage right. So.
That's my guy.
Your Baker Mayfield report is he's looking very good heading into their opener, which is against your Cardinals. So there you go.
Oh, easy win. Easy win for the Bucks
at home against the Cardinals. So
they're actually playing the card. Okay, so hold on a second. Wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. What is
the opening game of the season? I think it's against the Arizona Cardinals.
I need to see what the line is on that game now.
Okay.
Because they weren't supposed. I think the Bucks were favored in one game this year.
That's right. You mentioned.
And the Cardinals weren't favored in a single game, so
maybe this is a push.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Just trying to get this. All right, I got it. No, my Cardinals are playing Washington in the first week.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We've got the Commanders. We're a 7-point dog to the Commanders.
Are you playing in Washington or in?
Yeah, in Maryland. Okay,
in Maryland.
No, nobody's playing in Washington.
I got it. True. Only basketball and hockey. I got the Commanders and the Buccaneers mixed up. My bad. So
yeah, then we got the Bucks play Minnesota, so it's in Minnesota.
Yeah,
but
okay,
we'll see what this Vikings team is.
Disappointing as always. One thing you can always count on them being
especially on Monday nights.
Oh, it's a Monday night game.
No, but I'm saying Kirk Cousins. He's got that stat where he's like 1-9 on Monday nights. So, definitely don't trust them on the Monday.
Yeah, not a good look. So, all right, let's take a quick look today at some of what's going on soccer-wise. You got La Liga in Spain. That game kicked off, and right now it's nothing going on in that one. Italy, there's Serie A, and they just got started in that game. You've got, let's see, I can't even read it. I'm sorry. Salernitana, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Salernitana.
Yeah, there it's and Udis is tied at 1. That game's on Paramount Plus. If you want to see that, ESPN Plus and ESPN Deportes as La Liga. Portugal's that game's going to get underway at they only have one today, and that's at 3:15. And then Mexico tonight, that's 11:10, and that's Pachuca and Azteca St. Luis. And that's pretty much France has let's see, France have a game today. Express La Liga has their League 2 today. So, and then there's club friendlies all over the place. So, all kinds of stuff. Anything that you're looking at today?
Yeah, really the big match. The two are the later ones in La Liga and Serie A. We have obviously the ones going live right now, but those teams, not great matchups. But afterwards, we'll in Italy we have newly promoted Cagliari playing Inter Milan, and that's an interesting one because they'll have to travel to the island of Sardinia for that one. That's where Cagliari plays. And then in La Liga, we have Rayo Vallecano at home to Atletico Madrid. And, funny enough, this Rayo Vallecano teams is one of the few perfect teams left in Spain, as they still have a 2-0-0 record, and they could make it 3-0-0 today because their two matches that they won were both on the road. Now they're playing their first home match of the season. Now, Atletico Madrid is a very good team, and they were gaining a lot of steam near the end of last season as they switched their play style from more defensive to more attacking. And now they've added Memphis Depay, who's actually healthy, into the starting lineup. But Atletico Madrid is coming off of a scoreless draw against Real Betis in their last match, which was also away from home. And, as I said, this Rayo Vallecano team is no pushover, especially when they play at home, and this will be their first home match of the season. So this one, I don't really have a feel. Atletico Madrid is a slight favorite on the road. They're about a -106. That was even money earlier. And really, I don't trust Atletico Madrid to win this, more so because Rayo Vallecano does play very well, but this one probably would be an under. I think the defenses will lean. They'll lean heavily on those defenses, so I could see this one staying under 2.5.
Okay, sounds like a cool situation. See, we were just looking at so that there's that. Now, did they take a boat over there, or did they take a plane? How did they get to the island?
I'm actually not sure, but normally, like for the average Joe, you would have to take a boat.
Right.
There's not really a plane that goes out to the island of Sardinia. You have to take a ferry, basically. So
because it's not a big island.
No, it's not a big island, which is why I wonder if they make special arrangements for these sports teams. But I feel like they have to. I feel like they have to take the ferry in. I can't imagine them flying in. So yeah, it's always difficult for these teams. But Inter Milan, I mean, they definitely they're coming to play this season after what happened last year in the league. I know their coach Inzaghi was not happy that Napoli was able to just run away with the title.
Right.
So I would expect Inter Milan to be a little more focused on the title this year. Yeah, but we will see. We will see, because Napoli, again, they looked great in their home opener yesterday. They won that 2-0 against Sassuolo. So Napoli, there's only three perfect teams left in Italy right now, and one is Hellas Verona, who probably won't stay perfect and won't even be near the top of the table near the end of the year. But the other two teams that are perfect, Napoli, the defending champions, and rivals AC Milan. So definitely those two teams are both title contenders. So I would think Inter Milan's got to try and keep up with those teams there.
There you go. One of the things that over the weekend we talked about was Lionel Messi not starting against Red Bull when they played. And I will say this, there were about 27,000 people in the stadium, which seats about 26,000. It was not a home game for the Red Bull because there's a lot of Messi fans who figured this was going to be my only chance in the greater New York area to see him. They probably could have sold out Giant Stadium if they wanted to in that particular day. But anyway, he gets a score late in the game. So he has scored in every game he's played. so far, but they get their first MLS win. Now they played 8 games before, so this is the time they get their first win. So that's not a bad result. They're happy to get it, and they get the first mark in the MLS for Messi. But he was there, and everybody enjoyed seeing him, even though he played for maybe 20 minutes in the second half of the game. But crazy stuff going on over the weekend. And now this week, man, this is chock full of soccer. It's chock full of, we were just talking about Thursday night would be a normal Saturday under many circumstances in college football. But there's Thursday games, there's Friday games, there's Saturday games, there's Sunday games, and there's Monday games. So, if you're a college football fan and you can't find a football game this weekend, you're really pretty much not looking.
Yeah, they really they're taking advantage of this last week before the NFL starts, because
Right.
they even got games on Sunday and Monday, and those are going to be off limits once the NFL gets going. So
Right.
yeah, it's definitely just tons and tons of college football.
Take advantage of while you can. Now, from the standpoint of a handicapper, coming with regards to college football, we talked about trying to stay away from the FBS stuff, but is a week like week one with all these teams playing in various on various days and that whole routine. How does that throw your schedule into a situation where you have to do a lot of research for, knowing in the old days you could just say, okay, well, they're all playing on Saturday, so I don't have to worry about it. But not so much now.
Yeah, definitely. I think the key thing is really to you gotta get a jump start on it at the beginning of the week. And obviously, lines move a lot during the week as well. So it's always good to get the plays in early. The games being on a Thursday versus a Saturday, it really doesn't make too much of a difference. You just start with the earlier games. Definitely from that standpoint, it doesn't really affect too much, because you just work down. You start on the Thursday and then work down the line. But definitely, it can get overwhelming sometimes. There's a ton of games, so you really do have to take a deep dive into it and carve out the time.
What's the situation? I know the game on Thursday, which we'll go deeper into when we get there, but it's Utah and Florida. They played each other last year at the Swamp. Florida won that game. That was a game where Anthony Richardson looked like he was going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate, and then that was the last time we saw him. He went into the Witness League relocation program for some reason. Didn't play very well throughout the rest of the season. They ended up being 6-6. But what's the line on the game this Thursday? Because I think that's probably the game that everybody's focused on Thursday night.
Yeah, so this one has actually been a little wild, because I believe it opened up as Utah around a 7-point favorite, and then it was unsure if Cam Rising was going to play, and so that got down to about a 4-point favorite. And just after these last Saturday games, the line moved back up to 7.
Okay.
So it looks now like Cam Rising.
Well, Cam Rising
is probably going to play in this game.
Cam Rising, I think that Cam Rising wants to play, and I think the whole thing will be boiled down to whether the team doctor at Utah thinks that he could or should play. The quarterback that's his backup is a kid by the name of Johnson, who they used him a lot last year when Rising was injured. He's basically a run first, pass second guy, but they've worked on him really hard to get him to be a better passer. And from what I understand, he's capable now of doing that. But the problem is he's on the small side. He's like, I don't think he might be 6 foot, but 6 foot in what we like to call in a press book. He's a press guy 6 feet, which means he's probably about closer to 5'10". So he's not 6 feet, but he's got great speed. I don't know. Maybe they'll have some like wildcat type plays for him. I don't think Cam Rising's good. They will not. They will try desperately to keep Cam Rising from running in any way, shape, or form. I don't think if Cam Rising plays, they're gonna do a lot of pocket passer type situations because I don't think they want to go out there, play Florida, and lose Cam Rising in the first game of the season. So I think they'll be very, very cautious with Cam playing. But Cam Rising is he's a game changer.
Yeah. And this is one where I think actually, your Florida Gators have never actually traveled to Utah for this matchup before.
No, they've never. No, actually, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, the Gators haven't played west of the Mississippi in a regular season game in years. So, in that regard, but when they played, obviously they played games in Texas before. But I'm just saying that they haven't played in what we would call a Western state, Mountain State, West State, whatever you want to call it. This is a trip that they all set this thing up years in advance when you schedule out, and it's a fun situation. I'm glad Rice Eccles Stadium is a wild place to play, and it should be very. I'm certain it's going to be full of Ute fans. They're definitely going to show up. So it will be it'll be a good test. It'll be a good test of two teams. Obviously, Utah is ranked they're the 11th ranked team in the country, and they're certainly capable of putting some points on the board. So we'll see how that works out. Graham Mertz will start for Florida. Billy Napier needs him to be a game manager. Doesn't need him to be a superstar. Just move the chains. They got a running game, and that's probably what they're going to do a lot is run the ball, shorten the game, and hope that helps. So we'll get into that later in the week, but it'll be that's the highlight game on Thursday. Utah hosting the Florida Gators at Rice Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. So that'll be a fun. I'm hoping for Utah's sake that they have better luck at home than Real Salt Lake. That would not be a good situation for them. And we saw over the weekend Caleb Williams getting his second start for his first start as the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. He didn't disappoint.
Yeah, they did pretty well. They put up 56 points. Now they didn't cover the spread, which was about 30 and a half. So they were off by pretty much a field goal on that one. But the offense was definitely there. They scored 56 points, and that's a ton of points to put up. But they also gave up 28. So and that was at home too. So this defense is exactly what we suspected it to be.
We said that the other day. This is like defense is optional.
And it'll be interesting when they go up against a better team.
Yeah, that will be. You want to see a Bo Nix and Oregon, or a Michael Penix and in Washington, and even the kids at Arizona State, and there's Oregon State. I mean, there's kids that can play offense all over the pack this year, and so there's going to be some. I'm hitting the over most of the time in those games because they're going to get basketball scores on those games.
So. Yeah, definitely. The total in that game was something. It was something high in the 60s, and I kind of figured USC was going to score close to 60 anyway. You just needed a few points from San Jose State there with the no defense. Yeah, that over definitely cashed.
There you go. All right, let's take a second and go through today's baseball for you. 6:40. These are 6:40 starts. I got a couple of them for you. The Angels are in Philadelphia. So Lucas Giolito, Rye, if you're listening, you can go see Lucas Giolito pitch, just not for the Phillies. And he's going to be facing Walker. So Phillies have got Walker on the mound, and
but the Phillies are going to get to see him firsthand.
Right. I mean, they up close and personal.
They missed out on.
What they missed out on. Yeah. Losers of 10 of their last 12 games. The New York Yankees are on the road. They play the Tigers tonight at Comerica Park in downtown Detroit. Severino gets the ball for the Yankees, and Olsen.
And they are an underdog.
The Yankees are an underdog tonight?
The Yankees are an underdog to Detroit, Jim. Think about that.
Well, Severino's a 3.8. He's got a 3. He's 3-8 with a 7.26 ERA. So he's been. It's hard to. That's basically a batting practice pitcher. So all right, there you go. Those are 6:40 games. 7:05 games at Oriole Park at Camden Yard. The first place Orioles host the Pale Hose. The White Sox. Kepik is pitching for Chicago. Rodriguez pitching for Baltimore. Nationals are in Toronto. We face the Jays, and the Nationals have been playing pretty decent baseball as of late. They're only 9 games under the 500 mark, so that's something for them. Gray is on the hill for the Nats. Toronto, I think it's not arguably. I think Kevin Gausman is their best pitcher. Do you think he's their best pitcher? Maybe not. 9-8
he definitely was. He definitely was to start the season. I would say Kikuchi's has been better recently.
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely probably our ace.
There you go. If he's not the one, he's the 2. So that's not bad. 2 teams desperately in need of wins at 7-10. More so the Astros than the Red Sox, but the Astros are on the road at Boston, and Javier is going to be pitching for Houston. Chris Sale on the hill for the Red Sox. The Rangers, a team who's had some horrible luck as of late. They just haven't been playing well at all. Are at Citi Field to face the Mets. That's Gray pitching for Texas. McGill is pitching for the Mets. The Guardians and the Twins, again, both of those teams are still in the hunt for a playoff spot. And Curry is pitching for Cleveland. Minnesota's got Mato. Padres and Cardinals. There's another, we talked earlier in the pre-show about potential managers who could be gone. This could be the end of the road for Bud Black. The Padres and the Cardinals, also the Cardinals. Blake Snell throwing for San Diego, and Wainwright pitching for St. Louis. The game of the night, because they're battling for first place in, the Cubs are 4 games out. If they can get, they need to sweep in Milwaukee, or that could be a problem. The Brew Crew has got Miley on the hill against Callan for the Cubs. Pirates Royals, that game being played in Kansas City. Oliveto pitching for Pittsburgh, and Greinke pitching. Well, now there's a guy. He's got a 1-12 record. This is Zach Greinke. 1-12, 5.34 ERA. Whew. Atlanta Braves visit the launching pad, the real launching pad, in Denver. They take on the Rockies. Elder pitching for Atlanta. Gomer pitching for Colorado. Athletics and Mariners, the red hot Mariners. I got a TBD on Oakland, but Seattle's got Wood pitching. You got a pitcher for the Oakland. Not that it matters.
Mueller.
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right. There you go. Got him. San Francisco's at home to the Reds. Now the Reds have been playing really well as of late, but this is the Reds and the Giants. They are in the hunt for a wild card bid. So these two teams are duking it out for hopefully for one of them a chance to make the postseason. Abbott pitching for Cincinnati tonight. He's actually been one of their best pitchers. He's 8.3 with a 3.16 ERA. Harrison, who has no record, is a rookie who they brought up, and he's one of their top rookie pitchers. Harrison pitching for San Francisco tonight. And then the late game at 10:10, it's going to be Arizona facing the Dodgers, and we got Gellin pitching for Arizona, and our buddy Mr. Miller on the hill for the Dodgers. So there's your baseball for tonight, and we just said let's pop in and take a quick look at the wild card races in both leagues. Let's start with Tampa Bay is 6 games up on Texas. So that looks like everybody's playing for the 2 spot here, the 2 and 3 spot. Texas and Houston presently are in a dead tie for that the 2nd and 3rd wild card spot. As we speak, the Blue Jays are only 2.5 games out of that 3rd spot. Boston is 4.5 games out of that. And then, forget it because the Angels are 10.5 games back. So as we see it here, really, I don't think Boston has much of a chance. It's Toronto, depending upon how the 2 Texas teams do with regard to Texas and Houston. Toronto could sneak in there. Could be Seattle falling back. We don't know. But at this point in time, Texas and Houston are 1 game out of first place in the division. By the way, Texas in their last 10 games 1-9, and Houston is 4-6. And in their last 10 games, the Seattle Mariners are 9-1. There you go. From that standpoint, let's move over to the National League, where things are a little bit more interesting. Philadelphia, 3.5 games up on the White Sox. I'm sorry, the Cubs. The Cubs are, half game out up on Arizona. So after them, you've got Cincinnati and San Francisco who are playing each other tonight, are a game and a half behind. Then you've got 3 games out, the Marlins. So I don't know that Marlins, leapfrogging your way past that lot is going to be interesting. But San Diego is technically in the race, technically. I mean, if you can imagine, they and the Washington Nationals are 8 games out of the last wild card spot. But I think the 1-5, the game and a half out, it's Giants and the Reds coming in tonight's game, and they have the same record, they're both 67 and 63. So it's going to be a wild finish to the see how that ends up between Cincinnati, San Francisco, maybe Miami, Arizona, the Cubs, and the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies are kind of in the same place they were last year. I mean, it's basically they didn't win the division. Atlanta's just smoking them in that one. But once they got in the playoffs, they were just a buzzsaw. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. At the end of the day, folks, that's where you are in your Major League Baseball standings for today. We mentioned that there's going to be a lot of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We've got over 30 some odd games coming up on Thursday in the opening of college football, which should very well be quite interesting, to say the least, as we get closer and closer to that. So there you go, and that information, everybody. All right. Let's see. Any final thoughts here today as we take a look at we looked at Major League Baseball. We looked at our limited schedule of stuff going on with soccer today, and that's pretty much what we got to touch on today. We talked about our baseball and what's going on there. So anyway, Amadeus, as you always tell people in the show box below is where they can find your stuff. What are you putting up there today for folks to take a look at?
Yeah, so obviously it's always a slow Monday, but you can get my picks at bigal.com and pickadvisor.com. Both of those links in the description below. All I have up for today is one play in the Italian Serie A, and I have two MLB plays up for later tonight. But like I said, it's a slow Monday, and we'll have plenty more going during the rest of the week. Obviously, Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana is coming up this Tuesday to Thursday, and tomorrow we have the Carabao Cup in England. There are some decent matches there. You know, Tottenham got stuck with another Premier League team in that tie, so definitely plenty of action, and obviously the college football starting on Thursday, so it's going to be a jam-packed week for sure.
Yeah, it's we're getting you a chance to rest, folks, until the weekend, because once we hit Thursday, Amadeus will not sleep until sometime in February. So there's a lot coming up here, a lot coming this way. Well, guys, enjoyed having you in the house here today. Amadeus and I will see you tomorrow. You take care. Have a wonderful day, and be careful out there.